Today, I'm joined by Andrei Novikov, the founder of Texting Betty, and I'm really excited we'll be able to do a deep dive into the product and how it came to be. So, Andrei, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, super excited to be here.
Yeah, to start off, I'd love to learn a little bit more about your background. Can you tell us your experience in the real estate industry and why you decided to build Texting Betty?
Yeah, for sure. So it's actually quite a story. I got into real estate in the last year of university, primarily because I ended up reading a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think 99% of real estate agents have kind of fallen into that. And then I actually got my license and I parked it for about 10 years because I ended up getting a job in finance and I ended up working for credit unions and banks. Once I was kind of done with my finance career, decided to start my own brokerage. And then I made the first big mistake. And I said, hey, I'm just going to rebate 50% of my commissions. And I'm going to have so many clients that I'm just going to be laughing all the way to the bank. So, as we all know, reducing commissions doesn't necessarily reduce work or demand from your clients. So I quickly realized that that was not a sustainable business model. And I also realized that I wasn't really good real estate agent. Like I hate being stuck in traffic. I don't really like driving people around. And I get really emotionally involved in kind of all the decisions. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is not the best career for me. But I always was really interested in technology and I really like helping people. So I wanted to kind of bridge um, real estate, which is notoriously behind in kind of tech development, with the actual technology that I felt really comfortable with. So initially, what we did with a mentor of mine who is now working with Kathleen Black, so his name is Ron James, he kept asking me to do these massive CMAs that he would take with him um, to essentially show seller agents why their value was too high. And on the basis of that, we ended up building kind of like an algorithm that would value properties in Canada. And then that turned into its own service where we would send out these reports to real estate agents' clients to update them on the values of their portfolios and real estate, but then also keep top of mind with the agent that's sending those out. As we developed that, we also realized that a lot of people don't check their email. And we said, you know what, we could probably send this through a text message as well, just so that people can see it on their phone. They can click on the link and see the value of their home. And that's essentially how Texting Betty was born, because we were already doing that for other product. We decided to say, hey, can we use this for other communication? And can we build it in such a way that it will fully integrate inside Follow Boss, and it would be a very seamless experience where you wouldn't have to log in into other websites or have a large or a steep learning curve. You would just be able to use it alongside everything else that you already know inside Follow Boss. So that was our focus, and that's what we've been building for just over a year. So our 1 year anniversary was run around FubCon. So that was a nice kind of milestone for us, and to be able to come back to Follow Boss with having that product be out there for a year was really cool. And have it mentioned, on the stage and just meeting users that have been using it since kind of day one. That was really cool.
That is really cool. Well, congratulations on that milestone. I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
So what ultimately made you decide to build this solution and product specifically for Follow Boss users?
So all our projects are based on Follow Up Boss, and the reason for that is such a great CRM for implementing or connecting things to it. So their open API is really, really good. Their support and their tech teams are really, really good. So they allow you to essentially do what you want to do and improve the product and do more things with it rather than trying to board up and like prevent you from doing that. And that's been kind of the stance that they had from day one. And that's why I feel confident that, building something on top of Follow Up Boss is kind of the right decision. So we've kind of embraced that. Texting Betty only operates in Follow Up Boss. You can't use it if you have any other CRM. But that makes it really easy for us to provide customer support because we're not supporting every CRM out there. So our support team knows Follow Up Boss inside out, and we're able to answer questions a lot faster. We can pinpoint what the issues are. So that process is simplified because we're niching down in Follow Up Boss. But Follow Boss also makes it really easy for us to be able to design these products.
Yeah, yeah. I personally am a super fan of Follow Up Us, as you know. So I know there's a common fear people have of they don't want to have a bunch of logins. They don't have to want to log into several different platforms. So if someone does use Texting Betty, do they have to log in separately, or how does the integration work with Follow Boss?
Yeah, so everything happens inside Follow Boss. That's how we designed it. We do have an embedded app that you would use to kind of carry a conversation. And then the bulk of the automation actually comes from action plans. So if you want to have a text message that gets sent out at a specific date and time, that all happens within Follow Boss within action plans. So you don't really need to know or log into other systems. You don't need to kind of learn other technologies. Everything is already, it uses the functionality that Follow Boss natively has, and then allows you to automate text messages using those pieces that already exist.
Yeah, that's so nice. There's not a huge learning curve of having to learn another product, like it would be if you were to like use another CRM. You have to start from the ground up, and that can be a huge undertaking. So it's really nice. It just goes into Follow Boss, and as long as you learn Follow Boss, then you also pretty much learn with a few extra things. Pretty much learn Texting Betty as well. I know another common fear people have, agents have, is sometimes they're afraid that texting can be a little bit or can be considered intrusive. So how does Texting Betty navigate a fine line of wanting to have that layer of communication via text, but avoiding coming across as spammy?
Well, I mean, you can be as aggressive or as kind of passive as you choose to be. So you have full control over how that communication happens, how often the communication happens, what it's actually being sent out. So you can really fine tune it to kind of your voice, or you can also use products like yours, where you would essentially install those action plans that have proven to work really, really well and get higher rates of engagement. So, there's different thoughts about, whether texting is intrusive or not. I think it's, if you look at it from a business perspective and taking a look at how much engagement and then as a result, how many more deals do you end up closing? It becomes a kind of a different question. It's like, yeah, some people will find it intrusive, but some people will find just about anything intrusive. Like if you do door knocking, some people will slam, the door in their face, but then another person will, welcome you in to have tea with them, right? So it's also, part of the business is to, hear those no's so that you can hear more yeses as well. But from Texting Betty's side, everything is super customizable, so you can make it, your tone of voice. You can make sure that the frequency of communication is to what you feel is comfortable with, and have that, implemented very easily.
Yeah, that's so true. That's just the nature of being in a business of sales is you have to get no's no matter what route you go. You'll get no's just from an email even. You may get people upset that you're emailing them. So it's just how it goes for sure. So
One of
texting,
the
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to just mention is a lot of online leads are not ready to go buy a house with you or sell their house right away. And what we see is it usually takes 6 or 7 outreaches and actually like trying to get them to, start responding to you. And that's usually happens because when they sign up on your website, it might be 3 or 6 months before they actually ready or like it's time for them to take an action, right? Problem is that if you're just pinging them at the very beginning, they're not ready. They're going to ignore you. But if you don't follow up with them later on, you're leaving that lead who might, have finally decided, okay, this is the time to, get help from a real estate agent. But if you're not, reaching out to them and checking if their plans have changed or their situation has changed, you're not capturing that lead, and someone else will eventually, message them and get in front of them. So that's what our system is really good for, is to kind of put that on autopilot. And then once they do respond and once they're actually ready to take the next action, that's when we highlight that to you and you can take over and carry that conversation.
Hmm. Yeah. So I know that Texting Betty uses a separate phone number to protect the reputation of your follow boss number. How do you avoid leads getting confused? Let's say an agent's using the follow boss number to make calls, but you're using the Texting Buddy number to do the drip text. How do you help leads avoid confusion there?
Yeah, so the easiest way to kind of alleviate that is to make sure that the messaging from Texting Betty goes out as an assistant for the business. So then you can have the conversation, qualify that lead if they're ready to go see a home. And then it's like, hey, we're going to introduce you to our expert real estate agent, John or Mary, whoever you're going to route that lead to. And then it's a natural kind of handover, and they can start using either their cell phone or their follow-up boss number. The other way is you can say, hey, I have 2 numbers, one for office, one for my cell phone. I'm going to call you from a different number. Just watch out for that. So there's different ways, and I realize that some people like, oh, that would be so confusing. It's really not. The reason is that lead has never heard from you before, so it doesn't really matter what number you start texting them from. And as long as you build enough rapport, it also doesn't matter which phone number you're going to call them from. So it's better to use it than not use it at all. The numbers are there to kind of show that. The other thing that is going to be available for Texting Betty is to be able to bridge the 2 calls. So what we're adding is a button that will ring your phone number, and then it will ring the lead's phone number. So for them, it's going to be coming from Texting Betty number. And for you, it's just going to bridge that to your follow-up boss number or whatever number that you choose.
Yeah, that's a good point. You have to evaluate what's riskier, really. Is it riskier to have that extra number so that you can drip text and increase your deals? Or is it riskier to not use the number in the fear that some people will get upset or confused, but as a result, mean that you get less deals? So on that topic of deals, I'm curious, what sorts of other ways, if any, have you seen real estate agents use Texting Betty other than just like an initial new lead drip? What are some other ways people have utilized Texting Betty?
Yeah, so this is actually going to be topical because we're heading into the holiday season, and a lot of agents are hosting events. And one of the big things is actually trying to get people to RSVP and then show up to your event, because there's no point of running it if 5 people show up. What we've seen is agents rolling out campaigns to their past clients, inviting them out to the event that they're hosting. We've seen Christmas giveaways. We've seen a lot of things happening for Thanksgiving. There's pie events. So we've seen that aspect with not just new leads. It's more of a bringing in and engaging with your existing database and really nurturing your sphere. That's where we see a lot of usage as well. As I mentioned, a lot of our clients that do utilize systems like HomeBot, or we have our own in Canada, so we're going to have that in US as well, which does home valuations and sends kind of like monthly updates. That's another really great way to send those updates and make sure that they're actually seen, is by using text messaging.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really cool idea, definitely. Could you share any upcoming features or future plans that you have for Texting Betty?
Yeah, so we're all super excited about AI, and not to sound like a broken record, but we're still quite cautious about how we want to implement AI. So the first thing that we're going to do, and that's going to be rolled out kind of like in the Q1 of the new year, that's being able to deal with people that don't want to be contacted anymore. So say someone replies, stop. What does happen in your follow bus when that happens? So we don't want people or agents to spend time on leads that are not going to convert or that don't want to be contacted anymore. We want to take care of that process for you so that you can focus on the people that acquire your attention, that want to go see a place, that have some questions. And we want to take care of the process for those that don't, completely automatically. So whether that's running, an action plan on them that puts them into a separate stage, that cleans up your follow bus, that adds certain tags. So that's what we're working on. And that's not only going to be for, keywords, it's like stop or unsubscribe. It's going to be, hey, I'm not interested. Can you please take me off the list and never message me again? So something like that will also trigger the same workflow as someone saying stop. So that's what we're really trying to work on. And that's going to be huge for ISAs that have a large volume of text going out and have these messages coming in, because some of them are really not nice to read. And that's just going to be part of the business. But we're trying to make, the work process easier and more enjoyable so that you don't have to see some of the things that come through the messages that are less savory, that kind of take out the joy of working with people that do want your help.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree that that will help not only increase efficiency because agents aren't having to spend time, or ISAs aren't having to spend time manually like changing the stage of someone, but that'll also just help a person's morale. Like when you make calls, there's only so many times you can take mean people before you just want to like throw it in the hat and either call it a day or leave the industry because of how hard it is sometimes. So that will just help boost morale as well. And I think that's also the reason why follow-up boss, whenever someone unsubscribes, they don't like notify you that someone unsubscribed, because that will just that'll make you see the notifications and think, oh, like follow boss sucks, or I suck, or I shouldn't be in real estate. That's just what happens. So it's kind of like it ties into the conversation we had earlier of you are going to get no's, and that's the nature of the business, but we want you to focus on what's most important and not feel bad about the mean people or the stops that come in.
Absolutely. So think about it as right now you're getting all the different pings for, people that are interested, but also people that are not. Now, going forward, you're just going to be getting, okay, people have engaged with your communication, they have questions, they're engaging. in a positive way. So that's what we're trying to get to. Now, the other thing that's super exciting and that's going to be rolled out fairly soon. We're still kind of in the beta with Follow Boss, and that's going to be the inbox integration. So essentially, what is going to happen is whenever someone replies to Texting Betty, that's going to show up in your inbox. And each individual contact is going to have their own inbox kind of conversation. And then to reply, you can actually use the inbox to reply through Texting Betty. So it will essentially know where that communication has originated, and you can use inbox to start replying to people without kind of the workarounds that we used to have. So for us, super exciting because it will streamline the process. It will make it more intuitive and even more integrated into Follow Boss. So that's going to be coming maybe 2 months. So pretty excited about that part to come online.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I remember we all got really excited at the conference when they announced that because there's so many use cases for the FUB inbox. Like the all-in-one inbox is what they're going for, of not only outside integrations like Texting Betty, but then also like your Facebook messages or your Google Business messages, just having it all in one place, and have it, like you said, have it in the inbox rather than the workarounds you were having to do. Any other final things you wanted to share before we wrapped up today?
Yeah, I think you can't talk about texting without mentioning some of the recent changes that have come into place in terms of regulatory environment. So what I wanted to kind of capture here is it's really important to not to mess up texting. So with the recent changes that we've had, you do need to have your business registered, and a lot of us have already done that through Follow Up Boss. If you do decide to use Texting Betty, we'll guide you through the same process. It's going to be a lot easier if you've already done it with Follow Up Boss. We usually just use the same information. Number two is it's really important to have the leads that you're texting that they've opted in to receive communication from you. That is the most crucial point. If you don't have that opt-in, do not text those leads. And it's going to get more strict going forward. So my advice is get it right the very beginning so that you don't have issues down the road, because it's almost kind of like you can be put in texting jail. Not actual jail, but it's really easy to do something that might look like non-savory behavior. And you really want to focus on one, implementing texting into your business, but then also doing it for a long period of time so that you can reap the benefits for years and years, and not just blast a big list of clients and then be banned because none of them had opt-in. So think about how you're going to structure this long term. We do a lot of kind of coaching and just kind of educating you how to do it properly. We do require you to have Twilio account, but we also don't assume that you're going to know anything about Twilio. So we'll coach you, we'll guide you how to set up a Twilio account, how to get it registered, how to submit campaigns, and we guide you through that whole process. But I can't stress this enough, that whole process is very, very important.
Yeah. Gone are the days where you used to be able to buy a list of leads or like drip text people that are just, at least here in the States, we have expired listings or for sell by owner listings that you can still call and reach out to, but gone are the days that you can like drip text or even drip email too, with regulations and email. So definitely a
Absolutely.
hard
But
no on that.
yeah, but what ends up happening is that the space becomes less crowded with people that are abusing the system. So if you do it right and you do it, compliance to all the rules, you're going to be one of the fewer people that are actually able to use the system. So it's really, really interesting from that standpoint. So even though it's short-term pain, and even for us, and same thing for Follow Up Boss, to get everyone registered in such a short period of time, it's going to be beneficial in the long term. So the people that do the work now are going to reap rewards down the road, because there's just going to be less competition. There's going to be less noise. People are going to complain less about spam text messages that they're getting, because most of the businesses will have a legitimate reason to text those people that have signed up on your website or inquire for more information or whatever else the workflow that you're using.
Yeah. And on that subject, I know you and I have seen it firsthand, just like little nuances as well, and like the words you use. Sure, you might be texting someone who's opted in, but you might be using a word that triggers some sort of like spam filter with a mobile carrier to say, we think that word was spammy, so we're not going to let you send that text anymore. So it's just being careful as well with like the content of your emails, like, or text messages. You don't want to just say, I don't know, hassle free or obligation free, like those buzzwords that people used to use back in the day. So be careful with that as well. I think there's one instance where we saw it was like a combination of the person's business name and like one other word in the text that triggered something. So we had to like reword it. It was interesting. I hadn't seen that before. So some mobile carriers are definitely stricter than others, especially here in the States. But once you follow the guidelines and rules, then you'll definitely reap the benefits.
Yeah, and what happens a lot of times is that we will see a certain action plan that will flag the carriers. And what we do on our side is we reach out to that real estate agent and we work with them to try to rework the wording that they're putting in, or advise them on how to structure it better. Again, it helps us to keep the phone numbers in kind of like a healthy state. So we do that kind of proactively for all our users, and we try to catch a lot of these issues before they kind of grow into something larger.
Yeah. So who is Texting Betty for? Is it for is it for both US and Canada? Is it for only solo agents? Like, can you share who's the ideal user of Texting Betty?
So it works in US and Canada. There's no limitations in terms of the country. Um, Texting Betty is for an agent or a team that is looking to add texting inside their action plans. We kind of specialize just in texting. We don't offer a lot of other features, but that makes us, one, budget friendly, two, it makes us experts in essentially texting. So if that's the part that you need to get solved and automated in your work process, it doesn't matter if you're a single agent or you running a 200 agent team, we can handle both cases. But if you need more functionality other than texting, we're not a good fit. We only specialize in texting, and that's what we're kind of experts in.
Yeah. So if someone wanted to learn more about Texting Betty or sign up, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, the best way to go to textingbetty.com. We do have a chat. If you have additional questions that you can just type in, and someone's gonna pick that up and help you with any of the answers. There is a video that you can watch, essentially that showcases how Texting Betty works. It's pretty straightforward, so that usually is a good indicator whether that's something that's going to work for you. And then to sign up, there's a button that says sign up. Once you do and you go through the steps, we will ask you to schedule an onboarding call with us. That's usually a 45-minute call where we connect all the system. We'll set up all the accounts that you need. You don't need to prepare for that other than having access to the owner follow-up boss account. That's just something that is required to have the right API access.
Very good. And I'm sure somewhere in the description we'll put a link to your website as well. And we need to do another video once you release that home valuation tool for the state. So I'm excited to do that as well. But thank you for your time today, Andre. And I'm sure people will find this very helpful. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here, and it's been a pleasure.